Mhm. Good morning. I'm just going to jump in. The title, the OPPT demands absolute truth. Awakened humans, still a minority, are well aware of the games that have been played for a long, long time. We are aware that we have been conned over and over again, tricked into accepting a reality that is anything but the truth. We now want certainty. If you listened to last night's Freedom's Rain call with Lisa Harrison and crew, you'll get that. And I did provide the link here in the blurb. To me, it was clear that the world's financial structure is being reset. And the concern is that the same people that have been running the con not be allowed to maintain any control over the new system. There is a demand for absolute truth, absolute transparency. And let me say that the beginning of last night's show, dealing with the courtesy notices, is not the part that I'm focused on as much this morning. I mean, it has value, but the second part, which, as I'm interpreting it, dealt with the reset of the world's financial structure. Whether that's I don't think they specifically, I don't remember them specifically naming the BRICS thing where they're setting up a new financial structure with Russia and Brazil and South Africa and India, Iran, and Indonesia. We put two extra I's in there, and other nations joining that I talked about a few days ago. I don't know that they specifically mentioned that, but it's well aware, even in mainstream news, that the financial structure as we've known it is being reset. And the concern expressed by several people, I guess, in the call last night, is that we don't want the same crooks to be behind the scenes running the system again, because if it is, even if they give us some temporary relief, it'll end up back in the same old con that we've been getting all along. And as I say that, I'm realizing a reality that unless there is an awakening of humanity that gets beyond just the minority, people will still end up being conned simply because people don't know who we are. If you read the book that and several of you read the book and gave me feedback. Oh my goodness. I must have said wake up because my Dragon Naturally Speaking all of a sudden came on and opened a dictation box. I just had to shut it down. Forgive me. I must have said, because wake up is a command, and I had it in the in the mode that it picks that up and it turns it on automatically. But people do need to wake up, and most people haven't. And if we don't know who we are, it all becomes irrelevant because we're going to get conned simply because of the fact that we're still ignorant of how powerful we are. And that's one of the things that was covered and emphasized again and again in the Freedom Reigns call last night. We must understand that the value is not monetary. People still are in the old paradigm thinking of what determines our value is how much money we have. And that's the hardest thing to get through people's head, that the value is us. We are the value. We are the creation of the Creator, and that is the value. That which is created, that which has substance, is the value in a physical world. We are the value. And even beyond the substance, our energy is the value. That is the energy that drives the world, not oil. not coal, not any of the other things that we've been trained to think of. That's what our energy is. No, our energy is us. We are the energy. We are the source. That is, when I say we are the source, I mean we are part of that which created creation. And that creator is the source, but that source is in us. We have the energy because that's how creator made it. That which is planted in us is powerful, but we forgot that we were powerful. And that's what the whole book, The Enlightenment, a handbook on illusion by D. Allen Holmes that I talked about yesterday, that's what the whole book is about. And if you haven't read it yet, I encourage you to go read it because it is powerful. And he makes the statement, the master magician makes the statement, the only difference between the illusions of this universe or this world and your own illusions is certainty. And we have developed a certainty. We believe the lie. And as long as we believe the lie, we can't reach absolute truth. The absolute truth is you and me. We are powerful creators. We've created an illusion so powerful that we've convinced ourselves it's the only reality. It's the only truth. And yet it's a prison that has entrapped us in a con game, that everything has been inverted and turned inside out and upside down, where the truth becomes a lie and the lies become the truth. It's total inversion of reality, and the illusion is so powerful that it has deluded all of humanity. As I said yesterday, we've all been April fooled. We've all been April fooled. But we're waking up. And the OPPT is not, again, I want to make it clear for those of you that keep thinking it's something you have to join. It is not an organization. There's nothing to sign. It merely recognizes the fact of where the value lies. It recognizes the fact that corporations and banks are playing a con game, that governments are corporations, and that all of this process has been foreclosed upon. It is done, although it hasn't played itself out yet. And that's what we're all wanting to happen. We're wanting it to play itself out. We're wanting the new financial structure, or really, truthfully, it's not even financial, the new thought structure, the new paradigm structure of our world and of our knowledge of who we are. That all has to be reset. We have to understand that we're not slaves. We're not debtors. We are the creditors, and corporations can only get their power from us. And when we don't know who we are, we give them our power and we invert it. We make them the creditor, and we make ourselves the debtor, the slave. And that has to change. That's what the OPPT is about. That's the gift that Heather gave us, and the other trustees, and all of the people around the world now that have jumped on this bandwagon. It's not about an organization. It is a living organism that is saying, wait a minute, I'm not going to fall for the con anymore. I'm demanding the absolute truth that I am the value. That all the wealth is in me. I am the creditor. And reminding the people that work for the government, you are the debtors. You have an obligation, a moral and lawful obligation to serve us. And we're telling you that we don't like the way you're doing it. We're serving notice. That's what the courtesy notices are about. Letting people know that this system has been foreclosed upon. And the demand for absolute truth, absolute transparency must be met if we are to move into the new paradigm as a human family. And it goes beyond, as they made it very clear in the call last night, it goes beyond just Earth and humanity. It goes out to all sentient beings, all creatures, extraterrestrial, angelic, whatever realm that creatures are in. We are all equal. We are all one with the Creator. That doesn't mean that we don't have any individuality. It doesn't mean that we lose our identity. It merely means that there is a fabric that we are all part of, the fabric of life itself. And we share that fabric in common with each other. And because of that, we are equal. We are one. Still with our diversity, still with our individuality, but we are one. And somebody sent me a thing or posted a thing on my Facebook wall, I think yesterday, that said that we came from oneness and we're returning to oneness. And that's the focus. We've got to go back to oneness. And oneness they described as everything looks the same. Well, I don't want that, and neither does creation want that. Creation wants there to be diversity, but we've got to get out of the disharmony, and we've got to get to the place of the certainty of knowing who we are, that we are so powerful that we created this illusion that enslaved us, and we believed it was true. We've got to get out of that belief and get to the absolute truth that no, the power that we have to create and the power that we have to believe can make the world over any way we want it to be. But we've got to get harmonious. There has to become a harmony between the diversity. That's where we're going. It's not back to oneness that absolves all the individuation, because the individuation is what creation is all about, to allow for the individuation. There's nothing wrong with that. I keep saying the ego is not the problem. The problem is the ignorance of the ego that thinks that the physical being is all that there is, and the current mindset is the only thing that exists. That's the problem. We want the absolute truth that I am more than this body. I am more than these thoughts that entrap me in my own limitations. Or I might put the blame out there and say, they entrapped me in these limitations. They did it to me, and play the role of the victim. But that's an illusion too. That's an illusion too. We want the absolute truth of knowing who we are. That's what we are demanding. Those of us that are waking up, we're demanding that people get this. Know who you are. This is a spiritual awakening. This is the shift of the ages. This is what we've been waiting for, and we are the ones that must wake up. All of us, if we're going to experience the life that we want, if we're going to experience enrichment and empowerment, we must wake up and recognize the real value is me and you and each of us. We are the value. We are the value, folks. That's the absolute truth. Do you get it? Are you willing to see it? Are you willing to allow the possibility to become the probability that we've all been duped, we did it to ourselves, and it's time to take personal responsibility to be and to do, which is what the OPPT keeps emphasizing. It's about us being who we are and doing what we need to do to say no to the old paradigm and yes to the new paradigm. We're making a shift. We're changing the way we live in this world. We're changing our attitude. We're not going to let ourselves be run over. So anyway, these are some of the thoughts that I had this morning, and I would like certainty. I still don't have, just so that you know, I don't have 100% certainty about everything yet. There are still things in my life that I waffle back and forth on. And if that's where you are, you just know that it's a tug of war between the old paradigm and the new paradigm. It's to be expected, because the old paradigm has held our minds and held us for so long. There's a wrestling match going on between the old way of seeing and the new way of seeing. Understand that. Give yourself a lot of grace and a lot of credit just for being here now and being willing to participate in the awakening. Thank you for listening. Namaste.